It's just after dawn. 3 Venezuelan patrol ships tear across the Caribbean at 28 knots. They aren't shadowing, they're blocking. Engines screaming, white water peeling off their hulls as they angle straight toward the heart of a U.S. Navy carrier group south of Curacao. On the deck of the USS George Washington, movement stops. The collision alarm rips across the flight deck. 3 fast contacts bearing 217, range 12 nautical miles. Closing fast. Inside the CIC, tension spikes like a live wire. On optical zoom, the flags snap into focus. Red, blue, and yellow. Venezuela, this isn't shadowing, someone says flatly. This is a wall. The USS gravely reacts first. Turbines roar to life. 10 degrees starboard. Wake foams white across the strike group. Comms light up. Calm, clipped, and surgical. Contacts closing at 28 knots. Recommend intercept posture. Maintain course. Carrier holds steady. The flight deck explodes into motion. The MH-60R Seahawk is cleared. Tie-down chains snap tight. Rotor blades unfolded. Safety pins pulled free. Over the intercom, a single line cuts through the noise. They're trying to block us. Sleek hulls. Tight formation. No deviation. A strike group worth over $13 billion is now seconds away from having to blink or not. The commanding officer doesn't flinch. Course and speed unchanged. 3 ships, 1 line. And a U.S. carrier group that isn't slowing down. Engines thunder through the strike group as the USS gravely surges forward. A gray spear cutting across the carrier's bow. Her mission is clear. Intercept. Show posture. Hold the line. Inside the Combat Information Center, the Surface Watch officer's voice cuts cleanly through the noise. Contacts now inside 10 nautical miles. Bearing steady, speed holding at 28 knots. The captain leans forward, one hand firm on the console. Visible posture, no targeting. Let them see us. Every sailor understands the meaning. The Navy's unspoken rule, deterrence through presence. The destroyer banks slightly, turbines howling near full power. Its 5-inch Mark 45 gun turret slews 10 degrees to starboard. Deliberate, slow, impossible to misread. No lock, no laser, just visibility. Above, the MH-60R Seahawk receives clearance. Razor 2. 1, you are go for launch. Eyes on, weapons cold. Copy, gravely. Wheels up in 90 seconds. On deck, the crew moves with precision burned into muscle memory. Tie-downs clear. Rotors flex. One sailor calls clear left. The Seahawk surges into the haze. Inside the CIC, radar plots refresh. 3 Venezuelan patrol craft. Gary-class vessels fanning slightly, holding shape like chess pieces sliding into position. Their wakes form a shallow V, aimed straight across the carrier's bow. The communications officer transmits again on an open channel. Unidentified Venezuelan naval vessels. This is a United States warship operating in international waters. You are crossing a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. No response. Bridge to engineering. Maintain full turbine power. Copy. Full power set. Below decks, sailors strap in at weapon stations. CIWS mounts hum online. The failing Sea Whiz begins its diagnostic whine, barrels rotating at idle speed. Nobody is laughing. Nobody is panicking. But this isn't a drill. Through binoculars, the contacts are clear now, low silhouettes carving white scars across blue water. At this range, even without a radar lock, everyone aboard the Gravely can feel intent. Bridge to CIC. Range to lead vessel now 8.6 nautical miles. Copy. Log and maintain intercept course. The carrier, meanwhile, does not move an inch. No heading change. No slowdown. Because in naval language, that is the loudest message of all. You started this. You end it. The Seahawk clears the deck, rotors slicing through humid Caribbean air. Within seconds, it banks south toward the contacts. 3 fast patrol ships running in V formation, 6 nautical miles ahead of the USS George Washington. Razor 2. 1 airborne, the pilot reports. Altitude 500 feet. Eyes on formation in 1 minute. Down below, the USS Gravely surges through open water, shadowing the carrier's flank like a guard dog off its leash. Her gray hull cuts a clean wake, flashing white beneath the rising sun. On her foredeck, the Mark 45 5-inch gun sits rotated forward, deliberate, visible, but silent. Inside the carrier's combat direction center, the surface plot looks like a slow-motion collision. 3 red icons, 1 blue spear point, distances shrinking. Range now 5.4 nautical miles, the tactical officer calls. The reply is immediate, weapons visible only. Do not paint targets. Because in moments like this, discipline is the weapon. Its FLIR pod locks onto the Venezuelan vessels. Small hulls, gray-green paint, heat signatures bleeding from diesel exhausts. Visual confirmation on 3 Gary-class patrol craft, the sensor operator says. Formation steady, heading north-northeast. Speed 27 knots. From 600 feet, the details are crisp. Venezuelan flags snapping in the wind. Binoculars raised, trained back toward the American ships. Razor 2. 1 to Gravely. They're in blockade posture. Recommend continued visual intercept. Copy. Maintain eyes. No overflight. The Seahawk circles wide, keeping the sun at its back. A silhouette the Venezuelans can't ignore. Every second of video feeds straight into the Gravely systems below. Aboard the destroyer, sailors brace behind bulkheads as the Phalanx turret hums into life. 6 barrels glint under the dawn light. Its nickname fits, Sea Whiz. The system can spit 4,500 rounds a minute if needed, but for now, it only watches. Every camera on deck records. Every radar pulse is logged. Not aggression, just evidence. Bridge, CIC. Lead vessel now within 4.9 nautical miles. Copy. Maintain posture. The carrier group still hasn't slowed. Jets secured. Launch crews standing by. Catapults cold, but powered. The strike group commander knows the math. Turning now means conceding the lane. On the Seahawk's infrared feed, the scene turns ghostly white. 3 Venezuelan hulls forming a steel wall across the sea. The pilot mutters over comms, half whisper, half warning. They're holding the wall. Back aboard Gravely, the captain glances at the plot. 1 blink away from confrontation. Keep our bow pointed straight through them, he says calmly. They wanted to block a carrier group. Let's show them what that really looks like. The sea compresses into pure tension and distance. 4 nautical miles. 3 Venezuelan hulls cutting across the path of a U.S. carrier group moving at 20 knots. Every deck camera is rolling. Of course it is. But every sailor stays silent. On board the USS Gravely, the bridge loudspeaker crackles. Bridge to all stations. Stand by for radio call. Then the first message goes out. Calm, precise. Venezuelan naval vessels. This is a United States warship operating in international waters. You are approaching a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. Seconds of static stretch across the frequency. Then a reply cuts through in clipped, accented English. You are entering our security zone. Reduce speed and change heading now. Silence fills the combat information center. The air feels red and electric. Radar sweeps trace the moments like a heartbeat. Contacts hold steady at 27 knots. Distance closing to 3.8 nautical miles, reports the Surface Watch officer. The captain's voice stays level. Maintain course. Maintain speed. Visible posture only. Above, the Seahawk continues circling, its FLIR turret locked onto the lead Venezuelan ship, the camera revealing missile pod silhouettes on deck, uncovered, angled, ready. The live image streams directly to the destroyer screens below. Visual on weapons pods. No radar locks detected. Copy. Hold orbit. On the carrier's flag bridge, the strike group commander folds his arms, eyes fixed on the forward display. "This isn't an escort maneuver," he mutters. "They're staging a blockade." Back on the Venezuelan side, the lead ship issues another transmission, this time in Spanish. "Bolivarian security zone. Change course." The American reply is calm and immediate. "Negative. Operating lawfully in international waters under UNCLOS. Maintain safe separation." At 3.4 nautical miles, the geometry turns personal. The Venezuelans shift formation, their bow waves nearly parallel to the Gravely's wake. Inside the destroyer's CIC, the crew's breathing slows with the rhythm of radar pings. "Bridge, EW," comes the call. No targeting transmissions yet, but they're painting us with surface search radar. "Copy. Log every pulse." The Mark 45 turret on the Gravely rotates a few degrees, sunlight glinting off the barrels. The message is silent but unmistakable. "We see you." Aboard the Venezuelan lead ship, binoculars catch the same gleam. The next 30 seconds stretch like 30 minutes. Every order, every gesture could ignite the world's next headline. "They're not backing off," someone whispers. "And neither are we," the captain replies. Then, almost imperceptibly, the tone shifts. Venezuelan engines ease from 28 knots to 20. The formation holds, but the aggression drains from the motion. For the first time, both sides stop closing. The standoff stabilizes, a delicate balance between pride and physics. 6:18 a.m. Engines settle. Wake lines smooth out across the Caribbean like a slow exhale. The Venezuelan patrol boats shift from aggression to observation, bows angling east, throttles eased back to 18 knots. On the USS Gravely, the tension doesn't break. It bends just a little, but enough to signal a fragile calm. Bridge CIC. Contacts reducing speed. Formation dispersing slightly. Copy. Hold course. Keep recording. The Seahawk circles one last time overhead, FLIR camera locked on the lead hull. The heat bloom from its exhaust dims as power levels drop. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual on course change. They're pulling away. Roger that. Maintain altitude and observe until full separation. On the carrier's bridge, nobody celebrates. The USS George Washington holds heading 2710 at 20 knots, steady as a freight train. The commander folds his arms and says quietly, "Keep it that way. We don't reward bluffs." Down in CIC, operators log every second. Radar sweeps, bearing changes, timestamps. The moment becomes data, evidence that professionalism beats provocation. At 6:23 a.m., the Venezuelan patrol craft officially turns east-southeast, running parallel to their coastline. Range: 6.2 nautical miles and widening. No shots fired, but the message is louder than any explosion. Caracas blinked first. By 6:30 a.m., the strike group resumes standard formation. The Seahawk returns to deck, rotors folding with the quiet sigh of steel relief. For the sailors, it's just another day, logged and filed. By 6:45 a.m., the sea looks calm again, as if none of it ever happened. The carrier group pushes onward. Flight deck crews return to routine, sunlight spilling over the steel-gray decks. But every sailor knows what really took place. No gunfire, no missiles, just nerve, precision, and posture. This wasn't about firepower, it was about who would blink first. Out here, patience is its own weapon. Nobody on board calls it a victory, but everyone understands the message. Freedom of navigation doesn't pause for politics. For Caracas, it was theater. For Washington, it was Tuesday. And now, The question moves to you. If you were standing on that bridge that morning, watching 3 fast patrol boats closing in, would you have held your course? Or played it safe?